All right. Game of the week. Can't wait to talk about this. City 3, Tottenham 3. I thought the curse of Tottenham was going to be lifted. This game was at City. It wasn't at Tottenham Stadium. They're going to play at the half-field mark. We're going to score 7 goals. We kind of should have. But ends in a draw. Son in the 6th for Tottenham opened the scoring 1-0. He gave it right back 3 minutes later on an own goal to tie it up. Foden in the 31st gave City the first lead of the match. Lo Celso tied it up in the 69th. Grealish got it back in the 81st. You would have thought a normal City team would be able to put that away. Kulusevski in the 90th minute sees both of these teams sharing the points. It's always tough to run through what happened and then give my thoughts right away. But look, this is coming from a place of privilege, a word that Nick just used. But this is the most frustrating Man City team I've watched in the past 10 years, I feel like. Just so much talent, creates a lot of opportunities, don't finish the opportunities, can't put away a game. There's a lot of things I think Michael's going to bring up in here when it comes to VAR and whatnot. Yeah, it was bullshit and they sucked and whatnot. The thought that I had that I wanted to share with you guys was there was a big shakeup in the Premier League this season with Saudi Arabia having money, right, and people leaving. Michael, your team lost their captain for the most part, right? You had enough personalities on the field where you can probably tell me there's instances where you miss Hendo, but it feels like it's not as big of a hole as we'd expect. This was the first game where it really dawned on me that Gundogan in the middle of the pitch was the missing piece. And I think it was the fact that there is a lot more ability to calm things down. I think that last year he did a really, really great job of kind of keeping calm the front line, to be totally honest, to not give the ball away as much. And I think when Haaland gets pumped up and whatnot, he kind of makes some weird decisions every once in a while. But I really missed Gundogan in this one, and I think that may be the difference this season, to be totally honest with you. We're still obviously going to have a really, really great shot to win the league, but with the fine margins that there's been for the past 5 years in winning the league, it could come down to losing a former captain, especially in a place like the midfield where he can patrol and he can talk to people and he can calm people down, is all I'm going to say. So we can get into details now if you want to, but that was my original thought.
Nick, do you want to go or want me to?
You can go first.
All right. Defensively, I mean, it's going to go down as like Southampton going to win the league levels of just stupidity at the beginning of the season. We ever thought you guys were going to be like unstoppable defensively. You guys right now, and maybe Stones has to get back, or maybe like Diaz just has to step up, or somebody. You guys are so soft on defense for some reason. I don't understand why. You guys can't put anybody away, which you mentioned obviously, because you had more than enough chances to put them away. And there's just like a level of like wanting it that you guys don't possess right now. And like watching Spurs, every time they got the ball, you could just see that they wanted to score a goal, even when it was 3-3. They were like, let's go win. And you're sitting there going like, you're away, you have no back line essentially, and we've mentioned it before. And like they didn't play great, they gave up 3 goals, you know what I mean? But again, it's just they just didn't care. They're like, this is how we're gonna play. Kulusevski, gritty. I think you mentioned that he's kind of a dickhead a little bit, kind of aggressive. I just don't think you guys have anybody that can match that. And then, it's one of those things where I think, we would, me especially, and other people would kind of give Sterling a lot of shit. They said that he tapped the ball in a lot of times, like when he was on the team, and the way you guys play. That's the best version of you guys, though, is that the ball just ends up in front of the goal at somebody's feet and they tap it in and you score. You guys, like, Doku's incredible. Foden is incredible. Haaland is great. I think you guys are just too, like, individualistic right now. Not in the sense that, like, Haaland's like, I want to score the goals, or Foden's like, I want to score the goals, but just you're relying on somebody to do something great, as opposed to, like, the system right now is being incredible, which it usually is. You guys are usually, like, a very system team, and, you know, when it works, it looks great, and Doku is unbelievable, but, you know, if he crosses in 15 balls and none of them go in the back of the net, then, you know, who cares?
So that's interesting. The Foden goal was textbook. That's like what you're planning for. It was tiki-taka, it was textbook, it was a tap-in, et cetera, et cetera. I totally agree with that. I've said multiple times on this pod that Julian Alvarez has bailed us out in instances because he just takes a wonder shot outside the box and it'll go in. And that's not how Pep likes to play. That's not how he likes to run his team. I think you also brought up an interesting point. Rodri, if you look at our midfield, we're putting a center back in midfield right now, or a defender in midfield, because I don't think that we have the body. Like, and I don't mean bodies as in depth. I mean we don't have the body as in Gundogan did so much, and you view it offensively. But even though he looks pretty small in stature, he knew where to put his body to knock someone over, knock someone off the ball, get a interception, get a steal, get us back into transition. Bernardo, Foden, Doku, Grealish, Julian Alvarez. It's a lot of hustle. It's a lot of moving. It's not a lot of defensive mindset is what it feels like to me. And I could be totally wrong. I'm not a tactician, right? But that's what it feels like to me. This is one of those instances where now I'm understanding we're putting that defender in there because if you really think about it, when we had Fernandinho, it was, I'm going to foul you once at the beginning of the game so you don't come to this area as often or don't come the same way. And we don't have that intimidating factor. We don't have that dirtiness either that Kulusevski, I think, kind of had today. But, like, we don't have a mindset right now that is going to win a title in anything, not even an EFL Cup. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the two things I took away, and I want to come back to playing your midfield there, John, in a second, but I think we'll talk about belief in Tottenham, but their ability to just sit there and absorb, and then anytime they looked to counter, it wasn't like, oh, counter, okay, you know, they broke down. It was counter, and there was a legitimate chance every time. Like, it was every time. And that was just, it was a fun game to watch in that sense, but the question I guess I have, we're talking about, Michael, we're bringing up the defense and stuff, is how much does your defense suffer with Kevin De Bruyne not being there? The ability to possess the ball in the middle of the park, or how much does he mask or have the ability to cover those, those, just the porous nature that they've been so far in the last few weeks?
So it's interesting because Michael brought this. We talked multiple times today, and you actually brought up a thing that we should talk about. Like, when De Bruyne gets back, it's crazy to say this, but A, you're not expecting him to be 100% as to where he ever was. I think the leg injuries are actually kind of catching up to him at this point, and please prove me wrong. I would love to be wrong on this. But B, like, if he comes back, we have to change how we've been playing, like the tactic, I think. I don't think you could play this 3-2-4-1 with him. I could be wrong, but I don't feel like that's going to be the answer. That's going to be how we set up. And I do think that there is a little bit of that. I do think there isn't as much confidence and there isn't as much, like you're saying, Michael, playing as a team with some of these midfielders as there have been on other City teams that we've had, where I don't think we're confident that we're going to hold possession and create a chance or create whatever, and then we give the ball away in dangerous scenarios. The second goal for Tottenham was an interception in the middle of the field off of a header that went directly up the middle, and it was a two-touch shot that Ederson couldn't save. Like, we give the ball away in stupid positions, and that's usually how we play defense, is let's get into a position where we're not going to be vulnerable.
Yeah, you guys, that one in particular is just a matter of you gave the ball away and you were just completely caught with your pants down through the middle of the field with that header. And it's not like I think whoever that was like, oh, I see somebody open in the middle. Like, I think he was just getting the ball out, and it just ended up going to like the Spurs guy.
Yeah.
I think it was Kulusevski, right? Because I think he just took it and shot it.
No, it was Lo Celso. Kulusevski had the last.
Yeah, you're right.
Lo
You're
Celso
right.
had the
He
goal.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the curler. Yeah, I the thing with De Bruyne with me is you're talking about these players, Alvarez, Foden. You have to play Bernardo Silva. You almost hope Silva can do the Gundogan role, and because I think he's kind of a Swiss Army knife. You just gotta put him in a position to do that. But the problem is he's doing so many other things right now that it's just hard for him to go be that guy, be that 8, just like exclusively. If De Bruyne comes in, like, he's gonna play. Like, it's not like who do you sub out, but like when you look at it, he's in. Who are you leaving out from Alvarez, Foden? You have to have some kind of winger. I actually think Grealish is better for Haaland than Doku is right now, just because I think they've been together more. And De Bruyne is really good for Haaland as well. So you obviously want him. But yeah, I don't think you can keep playing through Jeremy Doku if you have De Bruyne. And then I think he's just going to become like an option off the bench. In the same way that if this isn't working, if plan A is not working, then we go plan B and we just have Doku dribble by everybody and find another way through.
Yeah. I mean, even you look at it too, just the amount of chances that they generate in this is insane. I mean, it should have been 4-3, at least 3-1, 4-1. I mean, how many times are you going to watch Erling Haaland miss a 8 yards out, wide open part of the net? And I mean, you can blame the refs all you want for that abysmal whatever the hell that just play on now. Like we can
talk about it.
We can talk about that forever, but I'd argue that I think the Spurs fans at the bar were right when the last whistle blew. Holy crap, man, that was a great win for us today. Yeah. And the City guy, it obviously feels more like a loss because you can debate that call with Grealish. I think that game's lost in the first half. Not putting it away when you should have.
I think that's spot on. As the person who's lost 3 straight draws now, it's tough for sure. Like the Chelsea draw, the Liverpool draw, the Tottenham draw all feel like losses. I think you're absolutely right, Nick. Like, we're going to talk about VAR here in a second because I do want us to talk about these refs and then we'll get into our predictions. It could have been 5-1 first half. Like, it literally could have. And to Michael's point, we were talking earlier, he's like, the offense just doesn't look that good right now. We're in chances. We're creating chances. It's not going in. And obviously I love Erling Haaland. I feel bad for how much stick our good friend Darwin Nunez gets right now because there are some atrocious misses that the Norwegian guy is doing here that like just gets put under the rug because he scored 5 million goals. Like, it's just that one he missed early in the game, Nick, that I'm sure you were watching because you're at the bar. Yeah. What the hell?
Brutal.
Like, how? Like, how does that was a Sterling miss. Sterling used to get those backdoor sliding across and somehow sky it from 4 feet out, and you're just like, how you could have. I don't know.
He looks like an angry runway model at the end of the game, walking off the field too with his hair. It's like, yeah, he's in there at Fashion Week in Paris, like storming off, and whoever he shoulder bumped, and I'm not calling it a bump. He just walked through somebody, like you saw his shoulder like barely moving. That person just hand goes in the air. He was. Yeah. He got some bloodthirst there. The Viking was coming out hard.
You guys are gonna get fined for sure.
Yeah, that's fine. Michael, let's do VAR.
Okay.
Or let's not do VAR. Let's do referee or whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, because it wasn't actually VAR. We're gonna start it now. The Anthony Taylor Trophy for the week, and I hope I don't have to give this out every week because God, it'll be a long list. Simon Hooper it's every time I see him, it is a bad decision. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. That again, you don't know if Grealish is gonna score, obviously, right? But that's like a clear and obvious. He's the last guy. He's on a break. There's 3 guys behind him chasing him down. I don't know what the thought process was in allowing play on, and then seeing that ball get popped over to him, seeing him take a dribble, and then calling it back. Because, one, I haven't seen like lines or anything on it. He looked onside from the replay.
Yeah, he was.
Okay. He was onside. So there's no way the linesman is communicating to him, I think it's offside, so pull it back so they get the advantage, right? Because they're supposed to keep the flag down and let the play happen for, intervention of VAR if needed. I know they're human beings, and I'm getting to the point now where, like, I was watching Goldbridge when I was, like, getting stuff, like, cleaned up when I was here, and he's obviously a United guy, and he doesn't like City at all, like, does not like them. So he's kind of playing it up a little bit, like it's about time that they got some of these calls, and I just don't think we can. I'm so anti-referee. I don't think, even if I kind of agree in a little bit of that, I don't think we can start excluding teams or excluding people because of that. Because they're gonna just wait. It could be any week, any game. Dylan knows all about it with Wolves. It is just atrocious all the time. Yeah. All the time, it's bad, and
Nick,
it's never gonna change. Like, it's not gonna change.